Good morning, my fellow adventurers. Welcome back to a brilliant morning here at Zaleski with Living the Grand Adventure. I'm Kevin, and just got up a few minutes ago, about 15 minutes ago. It's 7:30 now. Got a really good night's sleep. Went to bed about 10:30, so I slept about 8.5, 9 hours. Slept decent for the most part. I slept pretty good for the first half of the night. Then once it started getting a little bit cooler, I got a little chilly, and I did wake up a few times. The sleeping bag kept coming unzipped, so I think I'm going to jury rig something where I can clasp it where it won't come unzipped tonight. And I actually did have my shirt, I took my shirt off, and when I climbed in bed, I think that was a mistake too. I think I'm going to wear at least the top cover shirt I have today when I go to bed. Hopefully that'll keep me warm and I'll be able to rest even better. Got a big day today. Got at least the 7 miles for the North Loop, and then probably about 3 to 4 miles back to Site 1. So probably looking between 11 and 12 miles is what I'm kind of factoring. We'll see. We'll have all trails running. We'll definitely know what it is. The sun come up roughly 20 minutes ago or so. I caught the very end of the sunrise through the trees over there, and now it's up, so it's pretty bright. Last night was really good though. Pretty much right after I got off the camera with you guys, I packed everything up, that I needed to get into the tent and went to bed. So I didn't really do anything extra. The fire I had it down to almost embers when I laid down, and it's out now. I checked it really good, sifted through it, so I don't have to worry about that. And I've actually started packing up a little bit. Kind of got up initially, like I said, I was a little chilly, so I figured I'd pack up a few things, kind of get the blood flowing, get a little bit warmer, and then I'm going to do breakfast after I get the tent down and everything. I'll pretty much be 90% packed up by the time I do breakfast. And the idea behind that, like I said, is to actually kind of warm up a little bit because it is cooler. I checked my watch at about 6:30, and then I did doze off for another 45 minutes. But at that time, the watch did say it was 37. When I got up, it said 36. So it got pretty cool. The temperature has gone up a little bit since the sun come up, probably a degree or two, but still cool. I figure by the time I get on trail though, it should be starting to warm up enough that I'm gonna pack in the poofy jacket. I'm not gonna wear it trying to hike because I'll start sweating immediately. I'm going to keep my long sleeve shirt on initially. It won't be no big deal to just pull the pack off real quick, take it off and throw it down in the pack later on, which I'll probably have to do by 10 o'clock because I was looking at the weather. By 10 it's supposed to be in the mid 40s, so I'll probably be comfortable to go ahead and take that off, and then by noon it's supposed to be up in the 50s again. So, and of course I'll be on trail, I'll be sweating. So I'm going to get some breakfast and I'll check back with you guys throughout the morning. If you can tell, I have most of the site tore down. That's where the tent was. I literally just have just enough stuff set out right now for me to sit down and have a quick breakfast. Doing oatmeal this morning, of course, like normal. Sun has come up pretty nice. It's going to be a beautiful day. I mean, it's already blue skies all the way around. I checked the weather, not calling for any chance of rain, so it's going to be awesome. Oh, looks like my water's boiling. It doesn't take long for 6 ounces to boil. Alright, so I've got that water done for my oatmeal. I'm going to get that in. I want to try to get on trail as soon as possible. It's 8:15. I wanted to be on trail by 8:30, but I did get up about 45 minutes later than I wanted, so I've been rushing this morning. If I'm on trail by 8:45, I mean I'm 45 minutes late, I'll just deal with it. And we'll see how the day goes. Like I said, worst case scenario, if I get here and it's like 2 o'clock back to Site 3, I may just camp here tonight and then just do the 5 miles out tomorrow. I can live with that. I mean, initially I had planned on even going home tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. So what we're looking at right now, guys. It's about 9:15, about what I figured, 45 minutes later than I wanted. But that's okay. I'm on trail now, starting the North Loop. 7 miles to go, got all trails running, so we'll know exactly how far we go today total. I'm hoping to be able to get down to Site 1. I guess we'll see how that goes depending on how bad this trail is and whatnot. I figure at least with the reroute, that section will be kind of clear decent because they would have just gone through and cleared this out, you know, back in June. Maybe even probably a little bit before, in preparation for them doing the reroute. So, cross your fingers, looks like we go this way, that everything works out really good for me. Nice brisk morning. I didn't even see this campsite here. It's got it. This is another nice little small backpacking site. This one would have been kind of nice to stay at too, especially being back here by itself, kind of solitary. I decided to go ahead and do the reroute first because I come up with the assumption that it probably wouldn't be as established as the rest of the trail. Therefore, it may be a little bit more difficult. And guys, I was right. It's a pretty nasty mess. It's not extremely well marked. This is kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, once again, a lot of the overgrowth right on the trail, really tight trail. It immediately started with a declination of probably about 300 feet, and I'm still gradually going down into this valley. And where it is early in the day, everything's kind of damp. It's very solemn and very quiet down in here, so this isn't the greatest area right now. You know, you figure people have only been walking on this trail about 6 months, so the trail is there. It's evident that they've kind of went through and did it, and it's decently marked. There's been a couple of spots where I'm like, which way do I go? But I pretty much took a few more steps and was able to find it. They have flags, but a lot of those look like they've been kind of ripped off by the wind or passerbyers or whatever. And of course they do have the little orange dots on the trees. So looks like basically what you did, you just descended in this valley and you're gonna go straight back up, because yeah, that's what's exactly what I'm doing. I literally walked flat that distance and now I'm gonna start back up. So that's, I don't know. Hopefully, you know, when they can reestablish the original trail, it'll make it a lot better. But I'm just going to try to get to the next point and get back onto the original North Loop. Because supposedly it's not, you know, it's difficult, but it's not all this overgrowth. I really hope. Oh, looks like I might be going back down again. But, you know, I'm still having fun. Last night was a great night. This morning, I got packed up pretty easily. It took me about an hour, and that was doing a couple extra things I really didn't have to do, but it'll make setup easier tonight because I'm not going to use those guidelines again on the tent. So I rolled those up really nice and neat so they won't tangle. I checked the weather. I mean, basically the weather tonight is supposed to be like last night. No wind and decent temperatures, so I don't see no point in putting those guidelines out. It's just the extra 4 stakes I've got to put down and extra stuff I have to pull up tomorrow, so there's no real reason for it. Yeah, but not bad so far. I think once the sun gets up a little bit higher and it starts getting a little bit brighter down in here, it'll make the mood a lot better. But it's still pretty. I mean, definitely descending down into a pretty little valley here. Pretty area. And see, once again, there's no blazes, and there's a vague flag way over there. If that flag had blown off, I wouldn't know where the trail's at. And there is a lot of blowdown. I've had to step across quite a few different trees and such. Nothing huge, but even these small ones can be treacherous, you know, if there's snakes under them. So, and see, that's just, well, there is a tiny dot there. The tiny dots are actually hard to see from a distance, but that flag is just hung up on a little branch right there in the middle of the path there. And so you can tell that the trail is not wore down as much. I mean, it's very uneven ground, but that's okay. At least they were able to reroute it and you're still able to do the north loop. I mean, I guess, you know, it's, you know, could be they just close off the north loop altogether, and that would really stink. Little orange dot there. This is kind of neat. All these little trees right here, kind of all lined up side by side right across the path there. It's kind of cool. All right, looks like we're gonna go over this direction. So basically, I think I'll probably check back with you guys once I get over to the next point. I'm just gonna try to get this section of the trail over with. Ooh, so see, look at this. Some washout on this trail. It's a pretty big step. Good way to break an ankle, guys. Okay, guys, so to show you the condition of this reroute, that's how they rerouted it, through that. And that's old break. If this is a reroute that's been done less than a year ago, that's been down longer than a year. I actually went up here and had to crawl underneath it, and in the process I think I damaged my lapel mic. $8, no big deal, but it's kind of irritating when this is supposed to be a fresh trail. I really can't wait to be out of this area because it's, you know, it's just difficult. It's just, you know, overgrown. It's a lot of blowdown that they haven't cleared out. That honestly, most of it has looked like it's older than the trail. And if you're going to reroute a trail, clean it up. I know I've done a lot of complaining this trip, guys, but I mean, look up here. This is something else. I mean, I don't know. I hope this north loop ends up being worth it. I'm back on the original trail, and this is what it looks like. I mean, it's pretty bad. Let's see. I mean, there's an orange blaze. I'm on the trail, but this is what you got to look forward to. I have never seen a trail this unmaintained. Now, even in the backcountry at Red River Gorge, nothing like this. I'm definitely kind of second guessing doing this trail. If it doesn't improve, I may actually turn around and go back and just head down to Site 1, or even go home, because this is, I mean, it's not even fun. I mean, this is like being a kid, being in your backyard and just kind of blazing some stuff, but I'm out in the middle of the backcountry. My GPS isn't working perfectly. Actually, it started working better now, but when I was down in that valley, it was really acting weird. It at one point showed me 75 miles from where I'm at. I'm like, I didn't hike that far in an hour, guys. So, yeah, it looks like I might be starting back up out of the valley. I'm hoping once I get up here to the next point, some of this clears out. One positive, I did see a deer up on the ridge about 20 minutes ago. Didn't get it on video, but I saw it. Well, I've been about a mile, and the trail still looks like this. I was hoping it would eventually improve somewhere along the way. But I've been miles since the last time I filmed, and it's not gotten any better. There's actually been spots that were worse. I've had to crawl under trees and climb over trees. And my trekking poles are dead weight right now. I mean, I'm just carrying them to my side because they're not helping me any. I can't use them. I mean, I'm all for a hard trail, but guys, this is a little crazy. I mean, it's not even hard because of elevation or technique. It's you're getting slapped in the face every 24 seconds from a branch. You know, you're getting tugged on and pulled on and tripping because your feet are getting caught by branches. And it's not even undergrowth, guys. I mean, it's actually new growth trees. So I really just don't understand. And this is one of the better looking areas, and it's still very tight. Looks like I'm coming down here next to a creek, so maybe it'll open up a little bit while I'm down here. I'd like to get some time, get some momentum going. And it's very poorly blazed. I mean, the blazes are like every 500 feet. So, yeah, it's been fun going. I'm really debating because this trail actually crosses a road here in about about 2 miles. If the trail stays like this, I may take that road. It actually cuts the north loop in half. And I may take that road over to the other side and come back out and head down to Site 1 and just skip the very northern part of this trail. Which is sad because that's supposed to be the best part. There's like an old plantation and a whole bunch of different stuff up there. And I just don't know if it's going to be worth it with the way this is. I mean, got a little creek over there though. It's the first thing I've really actually been able to see because it's so overgrown. So, and still, I mean, even down in here, it's pretty overgrown, guys. I hate to sound like I'm complaining since I got up this morning, but I mean, I've been on much more remote trails than this, and them be a lot better shape. I mean, literally, if I just wanted to go out into the back country and hike my own trail, it may even be easier than this, because then I could pick where I wanted to go versus trying to stay on trail and keep track of where I'm going. But I am still following orange blazes. Little cave right there. It's kind of eerie right here on the side of the trail. This is a little bit better right through here. Alright guys, I'm going to put the camera away and see if I can make a little bit of time on this flat. And it's not quite as overgrown, guys. So I finally made it to point Q. It's supposed to be 2 miles from where I camped. That little detour, the reroute, added almost a half a mile to it. So it's about 2.5 miles. And it's still overgrown. It's not as bad, at least right through this area. I'm hoping it breaks out. Looks like, yeah, it looks like the trail goes this way actually. I'm kind of hoping it clears up. So I only have 5 miles left on the North Trail, and it's just now 10:15. So I've been on trail literally an hour and did 2.5 miles, even in all that mess. So I'm kind of hoping maybe I can be done with this whole trail by 1 o'clock. That would be really awesome, because then I'd be back at Site 3. I'd probably stop and have lunch, and then from there probably head down to Site 1. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Trail's over there, and there's a big drop off. Let me go over here and see if maybe there's an easier way across. It's not like I haven't walked through a bunch of tall weeds and junk right now. Yeah, it looks like actually the trail may even actually go this direction. Kinda. I'm not sure. I think actually this is probably more like hiker made, but It's going to be a big step there, guys. Go right here. And then up onto the bank. Yay. Alright, got to cross that little water crossing. No big deal. Figured eventually I'd have to cross that little creek. And now back to the orange blazes over here. Yeah, leading this way. Alright guys, so still kind of overgrown, but not quite as bad as it's been being. I may be climbing up out of the valley now. Well, still pretty overgrown. I come out over here, just across the road there, met up here. This is Carbuncle Road, I believe is what it's called. I'll put the link, the description up on top. Make sure we know the exact name. I believe it's Carbuncle. Now coming out, I could have taken a left and gone up the road about 1.5 miles, and it would have met back with the other side of the North Loop. I thought about doing that with trail conditions the way they were down in there, but it has improved since I started down this incline over here, because I was actually about 3/4 of the way up on this ridge, and it kind of opened up and everything, so not quite so bad right now. And it looks like right now initially I'm at least going to be going up this road here. I think it does veer into the left a little bit later on as we head into the plantation. There's an old plantation up here. It's one of the big draws, and there's a couple of ponds. I'm hoping the trail conditions are going to be better up this direction, because they are. It's 2.7 miles back to where the road meets the trail over there. I mean, I would only save myself a little over 1 mile. I'm just hoping the trail conditions are good, and if they are, I'm going to knock it out. I've only been on trail 1.5 hours, and I've already done about, I think it's about 3 miles altogether, maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at all trails, and I'm not stressing it right now. But I stopped, I took off my black undershirt. I was getting kind of hot. I was sweating. I was like, good on that. So I'm a little bit more comfortable now. Getting a little bit of beef jerky and some water to kind of refuel and knock out this 2.7 miles. We'll get over to the other side. I may stop and take another break depending on the trail conditions. Then again, I may just push through, because then it's like 2.3, 2.2 back to Site 3, and that's where I'm planning to have lunch. And then I'll make the determination on whether I'm going to head down to Site 1 or just camp at Site 3. With how early it is, I'm probably going to head down to Site 1. Barring trail conditions and what they've got closed, because it was interesting because there was actually a section of this trail that nobody says is closed. It was closed, and they had rerouted it, and that was horrible. it was across like 25 down trees. I mean, and I don't know why they had rerouted it, but they had. It looked like maybe from a distance part of the trail had washed out. So basically I'm gonna go ahead and we'll try to drink about 1/2 liter to 1 liter of water. I'm carrying almost 2.5, well, I'm carrying like 2.5, 2 3/4 liters, so I'm not stressed if I drink a little bit right now. And I know there's water at Site 3, so I'm good. I'll go up here and try to bang this out. We'll definitely get some good video as I go up through here. It was kind of interesting too, as I was coming along that ridge up there, I know something was following me. I think it was a deer, because every time I would stop, it would kind of dart away. And that was kind of interesting. But I'm pretty sure it was just a real curious deer, because it sounded a little bit bigger, and it was on all fours and everything. And I guess where they're used to people being in the woods, they're just kind of curious as they come through and just trying to figure out what they're doing. But we'll go ahead and press through and get this North Loop knocked out. Awesome, finally get it done. May not come back to Zaleski for a while so they get some of this mess cleared out. If nothing else, I'll just go to Site 1 maybe during the winter and camp, as a winter camp. But other than that, I don't definitely like some of this area up in here. It's a mess right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun now that I'm out of that area. Once it started clearing out, I mean, I don't mind a tight trail. I don't mind a hard trail. I just don't like a no trail. And that's what it felt like. There was no trail there. I mean, it was so overgrown. I mean, you were literally just blazing it yourself almost. And you could tell people had been through there. It's so overgrown. Well, I just come up a pretty big incline, got up that road, and then there was an incline over here. It almost looked like a dried out creek bed, but I think it was just wet. And I checked the topo map, and I'm pretty flat for a while. And the trail is much improved. I like this type of trail. This is, it doesn't have to be this wide. I mean, just as long as it's clear. And it's definitely well marked. I mean, a lot better than the section I was doing before. So I'm gonna enjoy this while I can and try to make up some time. I'm a little bit slower than I wanted to be today, and that's just trail conditions. You know, where it was so tight, and you know, I did get off trail a couple times because it wasn't super marked. It wasn't very well marked at all. But I think it's in the process of where they're just over there rerouting stuff and doing their controlled burns. You know, a couple of years from now, it'll probably be back to the conditions like this, which this is pretty nice. And of course, it helps it's flat. I did look at it. I will have a small, I believe about 250, 300 foot descent into a valley and then back up, and it'll be flat pretty much the entire northern section of the North Loop. And that's where the plantation's at and things like that. So I should make up some pretty good time on this 2.7 miles here. I'm hoping I'm going fast enough by the time I get to the plantation that I can stop and video for about 10-15 minutes. We'll see. Because I do want to get into sight in enough time where I can get a little bit of wood to build a fire. Because that helped last night once it started getting cool. You know, I wasn't ready to go to bed at 7 o'clock. But having the fire, I was able to stay warm until I did lay down at 10. I think it was about 10:15. And that was nice. Still a nice looking trail. So, I'm gonna get off of here and make up some time, guys. And we'll probably see you back around the time I get to the plantation, unless I see something even nicer before then. I think there may be a pond. We'll see what it looks like. If it's worth videoing, I'll show you. If not, I'll probably see you around the plantation, guys. I'll come down that first initial declination that we talked about, and this is the eastern side of this pond. The trail will actually go along the western side here in just a moment. We'll go up here. I believe the plantation's actually on that ridge, but I kind of like this area. It's actually it's like a spring down there. So I can zoom in for you guys so you might be able to see it. Kind of neat. Definitely a pretty fall day. It's warmed up. I'm actually really hot myself, but I mean that's just mainly coming down that decline there. The sun's out brilliantly. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a really pretty day. It's 11:30, so I actually have made it almost a 3/4 of a mile in about 20 minutes. So making good time now. But I didn't want to stop and share this view. You can tell this is where it's the dry season. It's down a lot more than probably would be in the spring, but still kind of neat to look at. So I made it up here. This is the old pine plantation here at Zaleski. Still following orange blazes, but generally this is about all that's left of it. It's kind of a marker they've left up to let you know it used to be here. I don't believe there's much else left. But yeah, definitely a lot of pine trees and mixed in, but most of it's still deciduous now. You've got the very tall pines mixed in. But pretty nice area. One word of advice here at Zaleski, especially in this area, these bright orange blazes are the trail. I would assume there was a reroute years past because there's some faded orange blazes, and I noticed them, and I actually almost followed one of the trails. I was like, no, that's faded, and smart enough to realize that. So maybe an inexperienced backpacker may not realize that, but definitely if you're coming to the North Loop, follow those bright orange blazes, because the faded ones aren't the correct path now. But I have made it up here, so I'm halfway through the very top of the North Loop here, making decent time. It's about 11:40. Pretty awesome. I'm here at Point S. I made an interesting little discovery just up there. If you can see it, I'm not walking up there because I Not going to be tempted to sit down, but there is actually a little bench that, I mean, you could stop and have lunch at or whatever, or just take a water break. And it's literally right here beside Point S. So that's kind of neat. I just happened to look up and see that. So I've come down from the plantation and I've come across this bridge here. You can see some of it's damaged. I say probably a tree fell. In fact, if that one would have fell a little bit closer, this whole thing wouldn't be here. See, you've got this here. I would assume that fell from over there and kind of damaged the bridge somewhat. But it's over this little creek, which I figure, yeah, it looks like, let's see if we can get a vantage point. Yeah, there's the western edge of that pond where we were just over there around that bend, you know, about 25-30 minutes ago. Probably wasn't even quite 30 minutes. But come down from the plantation, and this is what you see, and now we're going to start back up over here, heading back towards that road, and then, of course, towards Site 3. So I just come down that incline, well, declination, and come across the road, and we're going to go back across this creek, which, you know, we crossed probably about 2.5 miles down that direction, 1.5 miles. It's about 1.75 miles. I remember looking at it now. But got to go back across it, and then we'll start up through there. Got less than 2 miles to Site 3. Well, guys, I made it back to Site 3. Completed the North Loop. Finally here at Zaleski. Guys, that was a bear. There were more down trees on that loop than I have seen on all the trails I have ever hiked in my entire life combined. It was unreal. And of course, you know, you saw the overgrowth. I mean, the very northern end where the plantation was beautiful. It was nice to walk through. It was a nice pine forest. I got a little bit of video up there, up next to what was it, Point S, where that bench was. Yeah, it was nice. That was the only stretch that was nice to actually hike. The rest of it was overgrown, climbing over down trees, rough trail, and the maps say it's 7.1 for the loop. Nope. With the reroute they did over here, and there is an additional reroute up there, it is about 8.3 miles. So, and it's, well, I got here at 2:20, so I did it in just over 5 hours, and that was probably some of the hardest trail I've ever hiked. I mean, I'd put it in ballpark of like some of the stuff we did down at Red River Gorge, but Red River Gorge was just technical. It was rock scrambles, and it was fun, and you got views, you got to see stuff, you got to do stuff. That was literally just nothing but brambles and, you know, thorn bushes and overgrowth, and I won't come back and do the North Loop until they clean that out. I mean, it might be more enjoyable once they get it cleaned out, but it was more of a struggle than actually fun. Great conditioning trip, but that sucked. I mean, other than the plantation, there was nothing to look at. But the thing is, I can say I did it. You know, I got that North Loop done. Yeah, that was some rough climbing, man. But I do have the North Loop under my belt. Like I said, it's about 2:30, which I'm a little bit. I wanted to be here no later than 2 if I wanted to hike over to Site 1. And I literally just sat down like 5-10 minutes ago. Haven't even had lunch yet. I'm about to break that out and eat. I'm going to see how I feel after about a half an hour stop. That'll put it 3 o'clock. And I'm also going to look at the map and determine exactly how far it is. I guesstimated 5 miles. It may be more, maybe less. So at 5 miles, with the way I'm feeling, I don't know. I really don't. Because climbing those trees, that got me. You know, there's not, I don't know, like the last time I videoed was down at at the road, at that creek where I had to cross that creek. And I didn't record much the last 2.5 miles because there was nothing to look at. And just be warned, if you ever do it, from that road to here, it's a steady incline. There was 3 or 4 straight ups like this, a couple of them like
horrible. I mean, just like trees all the way up through it. It was a gully. And but the rest of the way it was gradual. But like I think there was one descent, maybe 25 feet, and then it was starting right back up. So for literally probably 2.3 miles, I'd say 2.3 miles, it's nothing but straight increase. So that last bit, after doing what I'd already done on the other side, fighting all the plants, that was rough. So I've got to make the determination if I want to try to get to site 1 or just say, yep, site 3 again tonight, guys. And I'm leaning that way right now, the way I'm feeling, but I'm gonna kick my shoes off, make sure there's no blisters. One good thing is when I did cross that creek down there that I showed you, coming back this direction, I actually submerged my entire right foot. Like the very, like not all the way down, but like covered the top of it, and my foot didn't get wet. So the industrial strength waterproofer I put on it actually sealed it. So I have waterproof shoes right now. So that's awesome. Well guys, I left site 3. I had actually planned on staying there. I actually really thought about it. I sat there for about 40 minutes. Was about to unpack my stuff after just kind of relaxing. And this large group come in, and there was 12 to 14 people, which by in itself wasn't that big a deal. But they carried in, looked like at least a couple of 12 packs of beer. I saw liquor bottles, which again, okay, fine. As long as you know you're not too rambunctious, I really don't care. But what got me is one of the guys pulled out a rifle and proceeded to start shooting into the air. After that, I was like, no, I'm good. I will see you later. So I packed up in a hurry and pretty much bounced. I was over back in my site that I stayed at last night, and they went over to that larger area and we're setting up tents and stuff. And like I said, they were a little rambunctious, young guys, like there were some girls too, but probably in their early to mid 20s, maybe a couple of older teenagers. But like I said, by in itself, that was no big deal. It's just when between liquor and guns and such, I'm not all about that. I mean, I carry my sidearm most places I go, but it's for protection. In fact, I've only fired this particular sidearm like twice in my entire life, so I don't really use it. And honestly, I'm not a big gun fan. I mean, for protection, yes, but I'm not a hunter or anything like that. But when they, I don't know if the camera picked that up, but he just fired it again. I don't know if the GoPro got it or not, but because I have an omnidirectional mic, but it's pointing to the side here, which is where it gets most of its sound. I don't know if it picked it up, but yeah, he's still shooting that gun, so I am not complaining. So I'm heading out this service road. It should connect down onto the King Hollow Trail. I think that's what's called. It's the trail that we took last year, and most of it should be downhill. And then once it gets down so far, I can start working my way over to Site 1. And if it's too late, I can always go back to the car. It's no big deal. I'm weighing that factor because I took an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes sitting there when those guys showed up. Because I had made the determination. I was like, my body's feeling a little rough. I'll just camp here. It's all good. Do the miles tomorrow. Yeah, well, I got screwed up. So we'll see how long it takes me to get down here. If it's starting to get dark, or it's like 6 o'clock, I'm probably just gonna go home, because I really don't want to set sight up real close to dark and then I have a fire, because that would probably put me in bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Because I'll just go in there just to stay warm. So we'll make that determination when we get there. Fortunately, another 2-night trip cut to 1 night probably, guys. It's not what I planned, but when you got people firing guns with alcohol right beside you, it's not something I'm cool on, guys. Thought it'd be kind of neat to actually see an area that a lot of people probably don't hike. But as I've actually been coming through here, I always look at the ground looking for animal feet prints. I have seen some deer prints and what looked to be maybe raccoon. But in addition, I have actually seen bicycle prints, and I've seen hiker prints, you know, like tennis shoes. I did actually see a boot print back there too as well. So obviously other people actually hike this logging road to get back to Site 3, and it could very well be due to the state of the trails. I really don't know. I mean, it's a perfectly viable option. It's an easy way to get back here. Yeah, right there. Some of them actually are smaller, and they kind of have that tread that looks like a female shoe. And then there's some that are a little bit larger, probably a man's shoe. And then, like I said, I've seen boot prints a couple of times, and I have seen a number of bicycle tread prints. So I'm not the only one that does this, guys. It's pretty awesome. So if you ever come out here and want to go to Site 3, at least right now, the way the trails are, if you want a little bit easier way to get back to Site 3, you know, this might be the way to go. Then you can always go do that north loop and kill yourself. Honestly, did not think I would be able to hike back over here to Site 1, but once I sat down and got a little bite to eat, got some electrolytes, I haven't felt too bad up through here. Is easier trail too on top of that, but it has made a difference. It seems like those electrolytes really help me out when I need them. So yeah, the only thing you really have to worry about on this trail, this logging road, I mean, there's quite a bit of puddles where they bring in the bigger trucks, but that's no big deal. They're very easily avoidable. But I'm definitely making it, getting down here to where I can make my decision whether I want to go home or do Site 1. It's getting a little late on me, guys. I really don't want to stay at site if I can't have firewood to keep warm tonight. I was really hoping, and I got to thinking, I actually got to site at roughly 2:15, and I was sitting there, and those people didn't show up till, it was probably about 3:20, because I didn't bounce out till almost 3:30. So I wasted a good 45 minutes that I could have been on trail if I would have made the decision to go on. But I was planning on staying there. I was comfortable, I was happy. I was like, oh yeah, I can just relax and get a bunch of firewood and have a big fire. And yeah, he has continued to fire his gun. I mean, I don't hear him so much now, but at least probably a quarter mile back, I did finally hear the last one I heard. I may be too distant now because I have kind of got a couple of hills in between me and that group, but yeah, I mean, it continued until well after I left. So unfortunate, they kind of ruined my fun, guys. You know, I don't understand people that come into places like this. I mean, there's a firing range here at Zaleski. If you want to fire your gun, go there, fire your gun, then hike in. Don't bring it up to the site and start shooting around and acting crazy. I mean, the thing is that he was shooting in the direction a couple of different times before I left of the trail. Like the trail that, I came into sight yesterday. And I'm like, if you get a stray bullet that would hit a tree, ricochet, it could hit somebody coming up that trail if they're coming into camp tonight. Just irresponsible people. Kind of going back to my Mohican video, guys. I don't understand it. Really don't. I mean, these are backpacking trails. These aren't let's go shoot a gun trail. Now, of course, granted, that is the wildlife area for turkey hunting and such here at Zaleski, and because I saw it talked about that, the Waterloo Turkey Refuge or something. I'll have to look it up. And I saw a sign for it. And I think that, you know, you can come in and hunt turkey, but that's during season. I don't think that's the season is now, but I could be wrong. I mean, maybe that's why they're there. But even then, target practice towards the trail. Come on, guys. But I'm going to continue down this path, and we'll see where it leads and see if I can get over to Site 1, guys. I'm going to try for you guys. I really am. It's kind of disappointing. I had plans. But if I see anything or have any more commentary on people firing guns, I'll let you know. I'm about a mile from Site 3 now, and I am just walking along this old logging road / service road that leads up to Site 3. And crazy thing is, this is some of the prettiest area I've been in on this trip. It's kind of weird. I mean, portions of the trail that I hiked in yesterday, but it wasn't bad. But this is prettier than North Loop already. And of course, easier to walk. I mean, it is just a service road. But it's serving my purpose today. But I'm at, like I said, roughly, I think it's 0.9 miles in about 20 minutes. So when it's wide open, I can move. And there have been some inclination and declination as well. So it hasn't been completely flat. And for instance, there's an incline coming up. Sorry, I'm recording on the phone. The GoPro battery's getting a little low. I'm trying to hang on to it just in case I see something really cool to look at. But yeah, pretty area. I just crossed the hour mark from Site 3. I've been on this for an hour. I'm at 2.8 miles. So I'm trying to get to Site 1. Don't know if it's going to happen. It is 4:30. So I just don't know. I should still have, I guesstimated because I don't have the length of this road here. I'm thinking I should have only maybe 1.8 miles at the most. Probably not even that. Actually, probably 1.4. But I could be completely wrong. It may be longer. If I'm not able to get to Site 1 by 5:30, I'm gonna go home. Just for the simple fact, if I could get in there at 5:30, it would give me an hour to work on wood, and then I could always set the site up after dark, keep myself warm while I'm setting up site, and then get a fire going. But if I don't have at least an hour to get some wood, I just don't see it happening, guys. It's actually supposed to get down pretty chilly tonight. Last thing I saw was 33, and once the sun goes down, it's supposed to really start dropping off. So I just want to make sure I stay warm tonight. So I don't know if I'm gonna go to Site 1 or not. I'm trying. I keep hitting these dastardly inclines, and they're slowing me down a little bit, but not bad. Should be just about the last one, depending on how the road routes. From what I saw on the topo, there may be one more after this, and then it should be descending down to the King Hollow trail. Still coming down. I think I just did the final incline, and starting down into the valley where I hope I can meet up with the King Hollow trail. There may be one more additional incline, I'm not sure. So definitely making it down through here. Okay, wow, okay, hang on. It looks like I have actually met up with a portion of the trail. So I guess a portion of the trail runs on this service road. Huh, kind of interesting. I'm gonna stay on this though. I'm not going to follow this backpacking trail because I know it'll lead down to, like, what is it, point whatever that's down there where I lost the trail and had to blaze my own. I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm staying on this because this should meet up with King Hollow trail. I thought about reporting them, but I don't have cell phone service enough to get the internet to get the phone number. I can send and receive messages and call, but for a while I haven't had enough internet to be able to connect, because I thought about it. Don't want to be a jerk, but I mean, some of the stuff they were doing was a little dangerous, I thought. You know, I mean, shooting up anywhere in there. I mean, there's trails that go every direction up there, not even the main trail, because I've seen offshoots of this that I would think probably like the DNR guys probably go in and service some of the areas here. And other than some of that area in the North Loop area, they do a good job. I mean, I've commended them on that South Loop a number of times. Even the West Loop, when we hiked it last year, was in a lot better shape than that area up there. But like I said earlier in the video, it's a rotation, so how am I getting spider webs in the middle of the road? But it's a rotation, so I guess they're working to it. Just saw a couple of squirrels like fighting, it looked like. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here, see if I can finish this trail and see where we're gonna end up tonight, guys. So it is 3.1 miles where you leave that service road and come on the King Hollow Trail. I actually remember this section where we hiked it last March for Shane's birthday. I didn't actually, I recorded quite a bit on here, but for whatever reason, that was with trying to think what I was using at the time. I think it was my old phone, but anyway, the file got corrupted because I was using it while I was still learning how to use this Samsung here, and I had my GoPro, and I lost some of the files, unfortunately. But I do recognize this area, so shouldn't be too long. We can make the determination whether we're going to go home or site one. It's coming up on 5, guys, so I don't know what's going to happen. I made it back to the Orange Trail. This is where we started yesterday, if you remember. Point Y is just right over there. Now this is the sign I was talking about earlier. It says Zaleski Waterloo Wild Turkey Management Area, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Division of Forestry, Division of Wildlife. Of course, I'm leaving it, but I was entering that there at Site 3. But anyway, this is where I had to make the determination whether I was going to go this direction to Site 1 or back out and just hit the road and do the half-mile walk back to the car. We'll go to the car, guys. It's 5:30, well, 5:26. I'm not going to have time because that's another 1.6 miles, roughly 1.7. It's 1.7 from point Y to point C, and then there's like, you know, a quarter mile or so up to the site. So yeah, I mean, 1.7 more miles. I mean, even at the pace I'm keeping right now, I mean, I'd be looking at another hour at least. So that would put me getting into site as it's getting dark with no firewood and still having to set site up. And it's just not something I'm wanting to do tonight. It's actually starting to already get cool. I've actually felt a shift come from the north. I would, you know, just the pressure dropping, and it's getting cooler already. And I mean, I'm sweating, and it's getting cooler. I've noticed a general drop in temperature as I've come down King Hollow Trail here. So unfortunately, I'm cut it short and going home. I would have stayed tonight if I could have stayed at Site 3, or if I'd have left early. Like if I'd have left 45 minutes earlier, yeah, I probably would have went over there because I could have had enough time to get wood. But I had no intention of doing that because I was going to stay at Site 3 until the group showed up. So here I am, road walking back to the car. It's about a half mile. So that won't be too bad, I guess. It's a little disappointing. This trip actually altogether has been disappointing because I've been looking forward to doing the North Loop at Zaleski for over a year. Had delusions of grandeur. I thought it would be something wonderful. I have seen so many other trails. And it's been so many other places that are so much nicer. Now, if they do some trail maintenance, do a little bit of cleanup, yeah, it's not a bad trail. And yeah, it's made to be difficult. I mean, with the elevation gains and ups and downs, and you don't have a lot of switchbacks, it's made to be difficult, and that's fine. It's just the trail maintenance. I mean, I don't mind doing elevation and declination. I just don't want to climb over 200 trees. I don't want to fight weeds and deal with getting scratched in the face. And I mean, there were like 3 or 4 different times I would hit something and it would almost pull my contact out of my eye because it would whip across. Yeah, just heading back over here to the car now. Walking on the side facing traffic, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, you know, I guess you can't have the most wonderful experience everywhere you go. And 2 of my worst experiences on trail have been here at Zaleski. One of them being my own inexperience, and then the other just not liking the trail. So I guess going forward, you know, I'll do maybe a little bit more research when I look at the place. But like I said, this is the one area that I have been wanting to do for over a year, and I finally got it done, but I definitely was not impressed. Definitely will be looking for better trails. I mean, actually I know better trails I'm doing shortly. So I'm gonna get over here to the car, get ready to head home. Made it back here to the car. It's definitely starting to lose light, if you can't tell, out towards the west there. Yeah, it's about 5 to 6, so I definitely would never have gotten over to Site 1 in time to get enough wood for a fire tonight. I mean, that would have probably put me in the tent at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, just trying to stay warm right after I ate. It just wouldn't have been that much fun, and I wouldn't have got any decent video for you guys tonight. So I just think I made the right choice. You know, there's no reason to hang around another night if it's not going to be enjoyable. Kind of calculated it out. I'm pretty sure I actually have a new personal best as far as miles for the day. I think I'm at 13.7. I'll put it right here just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. My original best was 13.2 at Red River Gorge. That would have been I believe the second day we were there. Yeah. So, you know, definitely was able to beat that. Getting closer to that 15-mile mark that I'm wanting. Well, guys, I mean, I did complete the North Loop at Zaleski. Like I said, I've been wanting to do that for over a year. Finally got it done. Wasn't all it was cracked up to be. I guess every trail can't be perfect, so at least I was able to get it done. Was a little rough today. I'm kind of beat. The 13.7 miles here, in my opinion, were a lot harder than what I did at Red River Gorge, and that was in 110-degree heat with the trails the way they are down there. I mean, they're pretty rough, just because the trail conditions here. And then, of course, coming down King Hollow Trail, that's a gravel road basically, and it ate my feet up. They feel like hamburger mush. So definitely going to have to go home and do some therapy before my next trip, which is probably less than a week away, guys, unless I get home and find blisters or there's something I need to heal up. But I think I'm okay. Not feeling too bad now. I've got the pack off. Got 2 hours and 40 minutes home. Ready to see the family. Was ready to camp tonight too, but that's okay. But guys, sorry for the trip being kind of a disappointment. I wasn't able to get that second night in for you guys. But if you do like the content of my channel, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, comment. Make sure you give me a shout out about, you know, your best and worst trips from the previous video, the question I asked last night. Look forward to hearing that from you guys. And guys, always remember to live your grand adventure to the fullest. I'll see you in the next video on the trail. Later, guys.